What's up guys, Jeff Robbins here, welcome back. So we've just got a couple more tasks to finish up so we can complete this super stock build. We've got to get the carburetor converted to methanol, and then we've just simply got to get the new super stock springs put onto the cylinder head. So to get this carburetor converted, we've got a new idle speed jet, we've got a new main jet, and we've also got this little nozzle that we've got to get put in here. And that nozzle, if you're looking at the carburetor, you can see the nozzle down in there, and that's actually what the needle goes in from the slide. So we've got to get that pressed out. I'm not quite sure how difficult that's going to be. What I have been able to determine is that it's going to press out this way. So I think I'm just going to give it a few small taps, see if I can get it to come out. If it doesn't come out gently that way, I'm thinking I may heat up the carburetor and try to push it out similar to the way I get the case bearings out of a two-stroke. Just not quite sure how difficult this is going to be, as I've never pulled one of those out before. So I'm just going to set the camera off to the side and see what it's going to take to get this nozzle out. So let's go ahead and get into it. Also, I wasn't expecting that, so all I did was just give it a little push with this little rod I have, and it pushed it flush with the carb body, and that didn't take much effort at all. So I've just got to find something that's small enough so I can get it the rest of the way. Oh man, that was nothing. Worked myself up over a bunch of nothing. So there's the stock nozzle right there. That came out extremely easy. So the nozzle lines up with the emulsion tube. Once you get the emulsion tube screwed back in, so I may use that to help guide it in. Let's just make sure I've got the right one. So when I was measuring this, I mean, they almost look identical, so I was almost thinking, you know, maybe I don't need to swap that out. But you'll notice with the methanol nozzle that the Briggs needle passes all the way through, and then with the stock nozzle it doesn't go all the way through. So they're definitely different sizes. Stock nozzle won't let the needle pass through. So let's see if we can get this put back in. Probably going to be easier than I think. Should try to use the emulsion tube, see if I can get it started straight. All right, guys. So that was way easier than I had anticipated it was going to be. So all I did was I just pushed it out. That was nothing to get it out. So I dropped it back down in there, and then I just used the Briggs needle to kind of get it as straight as I could possibly get it. And then I just gently pushed it in with the emulsion tube, and that took zero pressure essentially at all. I was able to just slightly turn that and it just fell right in. Yeah, I had not anticipated that being quite so easy, but that actually was a fairly simple job, guys. Getting that pressed down in there. So from there, all we've got to do is get our jets back in. And that's it. Obviously, we've got to put the rest of the carburetor back together, but you've seen that 100 times. But there it is, guys. That was a pretty simple conversion. So now this carburetor is going to run methanol. So it's got bigger jets and that nozzle's bigger, just because this engine's going to want to eat a little more fuel with methanol. It eats more methanol than it does just standard pump gas. So there's our new methanol carburetor. Okay guys, so here's the new spring kit for the Superstock. We've got new valve retainers as well as these new springs, and these springs are a lot larger than the standard 206 springs, and there's actually an outer spring as well as an inner spring. So there's two springs that go over each valve, and reading the instructions, if you're going to use a pull start, you actually want to pull the inner spring out of the spring that goes over the exhaust valve, and then the intake will have both the inner and outer spring. So being we're going to put a new flywheel on this thing that does electric start, after I get it broken in on the dyno using the pull start, I'm going to put the inner spring back in and get that put over the exhaust valve. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so that should be the final two tasks that we needed to complete to get this 206 converted over to the Superstock. So I've got the RT1 head here. The only thing we've done is added the Superstock upgrade springs. Got those installed. And other than that, the only thing I've done to this head is I cleaned up the valves and I put in helicoils for the header bolts. So other than the springs, that's completely stock. And then for the carburetor, we put in that new main nozzle, which was way easier than I had anticipated it was going to be. And then we've got the new high and low speed jets. So those were the last two tasks, guys. So once I get this put together, I'm going to get it broken in on the dyno. And the customer, they use this Dominator AMSOIL racing oil. So this is what they race with out there. Not sure if I want to break it in with that. You know, being a normal 206, all I would do is just break it in with the standard Briggs 4T. But with this new billet aluminum piston and rod and the new rings, I'm wondering if I should use this AMSOIL break-in oil when I break this guy in. So if you guys have any comments or recommendations as far as what oil I should use for the break-in, definitely let me know in the comments. I've got about 8 days before my methanol shows up. So if you watch this video and you've got any suggestions on if I should use the AMSOIL break-in oil when I break this guy in, or if I should just run it in with the oil they use, this AMSOIL Dominator, definitely let me know in the comments what you would recommend. But there it is, guys. Got the head and the methanol carburetor ready to go. So as always, guys, I definitely appreciate you tuning in. In the next one, what we'll probably do is just get out on the dyno, get this thing broken in, ready to go. So until then, plan your race, race your plan, have a good time at the track.